The new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode, the second video of the day. I did upload one earlier on, guys, for the race before, so if you do want to check that one out, then do click on the card in the top right hand corner of your screen and do go watch that race. The Japanese Grand Prix, an absolutely intense, crazy race. It was short and sweet, action-packed, and a couple of scary three-word moments. So do check that episode out before you come back to this one. But today, we are now here for the USA Grand Prix, the fourth from last race on the calendar. We're running Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi after this one. And for this race, we do have a double upgrade on the car, which pushes us right back to the top into second place, overtaking Force India and Red Bull there. So good progress for us, and the development race as fierce as ever. I mean, if you just take a moment and look at the entire chart and how all teams have progressed this season, it's crazy to see the progression there. But a very good season, hopefully more to come. But we now jump into Friday practice here at USA, and I felt confident because, you know, we've been on a good run lately. The car's been great. We really are in this championship battle with Sebastian Vettel now. Admittedly, he's got just a bit of pace in the car that I can't seem to match. No matter how many upgrades we bring, Ferrari is still bringing upgrades of their own, and there is that pace margin. And even if this car was the fastest on the graph, it doesn't perform like it's the fastest. Like Force India, for example, will still look very quick. Red Bull are starting to come on really strong. Ricciardo won the last race in Japan, and he was looking really, really good there. So it's interesting to see how it's all sort of progressing. But in Friday practice, the car felt good. We hit the practice program targets, and all in all, a pretty decent amount of points in the bag as we transition into Saturday qualifying. But all in all, I do quite enjoy this track. It's not my favourite. I seem to hate it more in the F1 games, but we still managed to get some good laps together. And like I said, we felt confident going to qualifying. But now, let's have an interview with Claire, and let's see what kind of questions she has to ask after the practice session, just before quali.
Great workout there today. How do you think it went? Would you say your rivalry is friendly, or are things a bit tempestuous? You really put a lot of effort into practice today. Are you testing new components? Appreciate your time.
And so with that, we jump into Saturday qualifying here at COTA. The sun was setting slightly a little bit later in the afternoon. Beautiful settings here for the USA Grand Prix. One of the most visually spectacular tracks with all the red, yellow and blue paint on the outside of the track. And we're basically here to try and do a job. Realistically, last season we struggled here quite a bit. So in the back of my head, I'm thinking to myself, we might have some struggles. You never know. I've got to basically base my judgment off of the last season, not off the last race, because there's a lot more consistency what you did before in last season than what you did in the last race. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting nonetheless, and if we can try and get to Q3, I consider that a success, to be honest with you, because I think we're gonna. It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to struggle a bit, at least at first. So we'll see how it goes. But straight away, we dive into Q1, and we went out on the fastest ultra soft compound tyres. And all in all, the car felt great. These tyres were really, really good. And we went out basically with the idea of, as per usual, we go out in Q1, go maximum full out attack, and try and get only one run done, and then we can save a bit of tyres for later on. We go P13, eventually ending the session in P15, and we just scraped through. Now, we got very, very fortunate, but the AI seemed to find a lot of time in Q1, which I couldn't find. And in Q2, we went out on the super soft compound tyres. Now, little did I know, there was rain expected towards the end, but Q3, that's what I knew. That's what I could tell from the TV screen. However, the rain arrived early. I went out on super softs and tried to set lap time as I always do. The first run in Q2 is always on a slower tyre. And then I wasn't even concerned about the rain. I was going to go after on ultra softs and do a lap. But unfortunately, we finished our super soft lap, then went to the pit lane, came back out on the ultra softs, and it was raining. And it pretty much meant that we was relegated to P14. Unfortunately, there was no way around. As you can see, the delta time is just going up, and going to turn 1, you'll see again. I mean, it's a good corner. I took it well, no wheel spin in the exit, but we were just losing time. And unfortunately, it's P14, and we are knocked out in Q2 with Pierre Gasly in Q3. So very unfortunate. Both Perez and Vettel also got through. Perez actually got knocked out with me, so that's not too bad. But all in all, a disappointing qualifying, and we've got it all to do tomorrow in the race. So let's get into it for the USA Grand Prix.
In 2012, America's on-again, off-again love affair with Formula One finally seem to settle down with the completion of this wonderful racing facility here in Texas. Since then, we've been treated to some incredible races, including, of course, that classic wet-dry championship decider of 2015. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Bottas, Sebastian Vettel and Verstappen, Sainz, Magnussen, Ocon and Pierre Gasly, Perez, Grosjean, Fernando Alonso, Martinez, Hülkenberg, Leclerc, Lance Stroll and Marcus Ericsson. Sirotkin and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right then, here we are on the grid for the USA Grand Prix here at Austin, Texas. P14 after a pretty average qualifying. Not too disappointed though, because we are going to get that benefit of the free tyre, and it was my mistake in qualifying for misjudging the wet weather, so ultimately I paid the price and I start on row number 7. However, it's not a bad thing. We can still do a lot of work from here. Like I said, strategy is going to really pay effect into this race. In terms of the strategy though, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for the softs onto the supers. Originally I was suggested super softs onto softs. I'm going to reverse it around, get the soft tyre out of the way first, and then have the super at the end. Go for the one stop, try and be competitive, go long on the tyres, and hope to have good pace. The one thing that does concern me is tyre overheating. I'm hoping it doesn't affect me too badly, because that could be a bit of a struggle, and hopefully it works out. Setup wise, as you can see, we have 48 wings. Then we have 100 on each of the diffs, because I want the wheels rotating at the same speed. Suspension the same. Suspension again the same. Brake bias, this is something I've experimented with this race weekend. I'm still not sure if I like it or not. I'm going to give it a go in this race. Normally I'll always have brake pressure on 75. This is the first ever time I've run more than 75 brake pressure. Tyres also, the only difference here, I've knocked down the rear tyre pressures by 2 to try and avoid rear overheating, and that is pretty much it. Ballast on 8, and that is the setup for today. And there's a strategy. Fuel wise, we are 1 lap over, and hopefully we can have a good race. With that being said, let's jump into it here for the USA Grand Prix, and let's see how things pan out. Let's go. Right, here we go then. Let's get ready for the 5 red lights here at Austin, Texas. Lights out, and away we go. Decent start actually. The actual reaction to the light and the getaway was brilliant. Second phase not so good. We got up the inside though in turn 1 to recover those positions. Past Leclerc and Alonso as well. Getting the power down early. Picking up the inside line through turn 2. Currently behind Sergio Perez here. A little bit of a traffic jam. Ocon there as well. The Force Indians 11th and 12th so far. They definitely don't seem to have much pace, so they didn't have much pace in qualifying. And Gasly now up into P9, so he's doing a good job. I thought about going up the inside there, but that could have been a pretty bad move. Perez is on soft tyres as well, so it's worth keeping that in mind, because basically we're going to be racing Perez on the exact same strategy here today. The AI do brake early into the hairpin here, so I'm going to try and go for a wide line. I don't really want to abuse that inside move. On the power early on though, here we are, behind Perez. Can we extract anything and try and get past this Force India? Nope, too quick. For now, at least. Not in the brake zone though. He's a bit slow on the brakes. We got the inside of Perez. I'm pretty good on the brakes through there actually. I'm quite late, and it's a nice move getting past one of my rivals who's on the soft compound tyre. I think that might be it for soft runners. So if we stay ahead of Perez, at least compared to the people on that strategy, we'll be leading those guys in that group of guys. Meanwhile, we've got Ocon in front. He's on the ultra soft, so he's 2 compounds softer, so he's going to be pretty quick. It's all about trying to get this tyre switched on in the groove and run at a decent race pace, trying to get in quite too many battles, and the most important thing, to not spin up the rears and try and be patient on the throttle. Right then, lap 1 done. Let's get our head down and try and see if we can focus and set some good pace. We're on to lap 3, DRS now enabled. So far so good. We are losing a little bit of contact with Ocon, but I think everyone in front of him is on ultras, so it's to be expected. It's all about just trying to stay ahead of Perez now, especially now with DRS enabled. At the moment things are going great, personal best again, keeping up with the train. There's lots of battles going on at the moment, and the longer these battles continue, and what's going to suit us in the long run. Right now there's a Red Bull at the front of this train that's going a bit slowly, which has caused this sort of pile-up effect. But right now, as long as we're within Ocon's DRS, Perez can't really touch me. So this is good stuff. Oh, it's kicking off in front. The Red Bull's going to be deep on the brakes, and he's getting attacked here by Nico Hulkenberg. Nice Roman Grosjean in the Haas. Sainz just behind in the Renault there. Side-by-side action. Now is when we can start maybe making some moves. It might be our chance, even though I'm very happy at the back of this train. If we could put some cars between myself and Perez, these ultra soft runners might start coming in soon. I reckon starting from now really, especially depending on how aggressive they are on strategy, they could come in as early as this lap. So let's see. There you go, Gasly comes in, my teammate. He's had enough of those ultras already, so a signal as well that we've got pretty hard tyre wear. Let's try and keep up with these boys because we could do something. At the moment the race pace is strong. Also from Pierre, it's a genius play. If he comes out in clean air, which he will, because the entire rest of the field is behind me, he's going to have a lot of laps there to push on that fresh tyre and potentially undercut all of these cars in front, including the Red Bull, and rejoining in clean air. If he can still commit to a two-stop strategy, that is, he will be looking very good later on in the Grand Prix. Another car in the pit lane there. That was a Haas, it seemed. I think that might have been Magnussen. Either way, this is very much suiting me at the moment. I'm into P10 now, into the points. And that lead group isn't really pulling away that much because they're quite, condensed in that battle. As we go a little bit deep into turn one there. First little mistake of the race, a bit of a lock up, but Perez nowhere near close enough to capitalise, as Sainz is still ahead of Grosjean. This is going to get fiery, I think, in a minute. So let's just watch this develop. I feel like on the back straight, Ocon might absolutely rinse these guys. And I'm going to try and follow him, basically, and get the triple toe. First sector is my strongest point. Sector 2 is probably my weakest. And then the final sector, I can do a decent final sector if I get it hooked up. But it's not that common. Sainz goes defensive into the hairpin. We're going to take a bit of a wider line to try and set up the back straight. I'm a little bit further back than I would like, but we're still within range. There goes Ocon, he's picking up the double toe. Sainz is vulnerable, extremely vulnerable here in the Renault. Up the inside of the Spaniard, there's contact between Ocon and Grosjean. We slip past everybody and produce a triple overtake. Perfectly timed, and that is how you efficiently make overtakes right there. Ocon locked up, ran deep, opened the space as I was making the overtake on Sainz, and I just slipped straight through, and I'm now in clean air. And these guys are probably going to pick this lap anyway, so I've put some nice distance between myself and Sergio Perez when it matters the most. Now let's try and use the clean air as I take a massive chunk out of that corner, first corner cut of the race, and try and pull away from these guys. We've got who's that, Hamilton, and also I'm going to guess, yeah, Raikkonen in the pit lane. So P5 at the moment. Let's keep going here. And Gasly with the fastest lap of 33.9. Like I said, he'll probably undercut everyone because he's running in clean air. He's going to have good pace. Personal best, 35.3 in clean air. We're putting the distance between ourselves and the competition. Let's keep this going. Tyre wear levels looking pretty good as well. And tyre temperatures. It's looking very nice so far. A little bit of a snappy rear end there, but nice late braking. Matching the personal best, good pace. If I keep this up, we're coming in lap 15, so we're doing a good job here. There we go, personal best again as Vettel and Bottas come in. Up into P3 now. This is looking very good so far. Although I feel like the big boys are actually going to go for the one-stoppers, so I feel like P6 or P7 might be the best we can get today. Which will still be an incredible result and something I'll absolutely take home with me as long as Vettel doesn't win. Another personal best as now Ricciardo comes in. He's onto soft, so Verstappen leads him. We're actually closing up to him here. But I think Verstappen will be in this lap, so we're not going to get a chance to overtake him. As expected, Verstappen comes in and we're going to inherit the race lead for now. Still running at a strong pace, keeping Perez behind me. First place, there we go. Perez is catching slightly, but not fast enough.
Okay, some information on Raikkonen. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
Raikkonen's out. That's interesting. Seems like there's no VSC or safety car from it though. So we'll continue on as normal. Oh, big lock up there. This lap's been a bit scruffy. I'm 4 tenths down on my PB. I've dropped a bit of time to Perez's lap, that's for sure. But we've got a 3-second gap, so it's still all okay. Oof, getting a bit loose through there. Tyres are going, so we need to be careful. I'm on for a personal best that lap, and we just miss out, but we picked up the pace, found a bit of pace. We're coming in this lap though, so I'm going to keep it in a hot lap and try and push on. Right then, decent stint. Let's just try and nurse this banking one more time. Getting off the throttle a bit. Being extra cautious to make sure we don't get our foot wrong. Into the pit lane now. Attacking the entry. There we go. Get it slowed down. Beautiful. That was a very safe but efficient pit entry. Perez is up for one more lap. Interesting. I mean, I could have maybe gone for one more, but I didn't want to risk the undercut because I struggled to warm up my tyres. And Perez, to be fair, has got just as good of a chance of getting me on the overcut. So I need to rejoin in clean air and be able to push straight away. And I'm not going to get that, unfortunately. We're going to come out right behind Gasly and the Haas boys. So Perez might have had a major play here. And he might have done something insane. I've come ahead of Ocon though, which is good news. But we're back down to P9. Let's get our head down, focus, and have a strong lap. Alright, we're not messing around here. Hairpin, tyres are switched on already. On the back of Grosjean. Do we have the speed? Magnussen will have DRS, which is unfortunate. However, I'm going to have the speed as well. Have we got enough? We're starting to gain now, but not enough. So we're going to go for it on the brakes. It's from very far back. And it's a very nice move. Grosjean tried to turn in on me there, but I was having none of it. I got my car alongside, so even if he turned in, I wasn't going to lose my front wing. And we get them moved on. Good outlap so far, I'm impressed. The tyres have really warmed up quite quickly, which I quite like. Now we're on the back of Magnussen. Perez is in, there we go, I can see on the mini-map, so it's critical that these final corners and the end of the lap is good. Another corner cut there, that's my second one more, and I'm in trouble. Pierre comes in.
Pierre is in for his stop.
Right, here we go, let's get past Magnussen. There's Perez leaving the pit lane now. We're going to get the job done. Into turn one, run a wide entry to try and avoid the switchback. And there we go, we're actually quite ahead of Perez still. So now Sergio's got to try and get past Magnussen. And we've got Verstappen in front on soft, so he's going to be vulnerable, unlike in the last stint. I'm going to have the tyre advantage over him in terms of freshness and also performance. Purple first sector. Let's chase after this Dutchman and get that P4. Okay, Perez has got past K-Mag, so to continue putting distance between myself and him, we need to get past Verstappen, as we do a fast lap of the Grand Prix. If we get past Verstappen, then Perez is going to have to pass him as well. And we've definitely got the edge on Verstappen here. These tyres are working beautifully, and I want to make use of them while they're still fresh. Sector 1 is my strong point, so we might be able to do a cheeky little surprise move on Verstappen through these S's here, if I carry the speed. Look how much confidence I have. I'm so much faster in the car. We need to get this move done, not waste too much time behind. We've got Perez at 3.6, so that's a good gap to keep if possible. So down the hill, racing down to the hairpin. Let's be patient. Set up the car for the switchback. Overtake. ERS will be engaged soon. There we go. Now we got it. DRS, and that's going to be a fairly simple move from Verstappen. And we're into P4. Right, lovely stuff. Let's try and use these tyres now, break away. I'm going to use up the rest of my rich mix starting from the next lap, and in the meantime charge up that ERS battery by leaving it in medium. Right, rich mix has been burnt up. Now we're going to switch to ERS and try and consume that a bit. We're actually catching Sebastian here, so you never know. Let's just keep our head down. Okay, rear's overheating. I was worried about this, and it's happening. Got to be careful with temperature inputs, power inputs. There we go, they're cooling down a bit now. Right, I'm now saving my ERS as Perez does the fastest lap at 32.8. He's flying. I'm going to be on the back foot. So let's just prepare ourselves for the inevitable. Perez goes up the inside of the hairpin. First attempt, he's done it. First time of asking. However, he doesn't get a great exit. He will have DRS though. Cannot do anything. I'm going to the negatives for fuel. We are going to try and go for the move then, the rear overtake. Put him to the inside. Up the inside at the brake zone. Perez goes around the outside. A little bit of wheel bang in there. Perez holds on. I'll switch back underneath. My rears are hot. I've got to be careful. Up the inside. Not quite. Front wing damage. Damn it. Perez gets the job done. And I've now got front wing damage. My fault. Thought I could have gone for it there, but I should have just probably backed out. Now I've got hot rears and a yellow front right end plate. And Verstappen is lurking behind. Let's get a head screwed on here. Let's try and get back up to speed. Try our best. We have a lot of ERS to burn, so... Oh, I'm struggling. Locking up now. Brake bias is on 54. I don't want to go back anymore because I'm going to start losing the rear on the braking. But I am struggling now big time. Oh. Oh, crap. Tyres are just too hot. I just don't know how to not... I don't know how to be fast and not overheat my tyres around this circuit. It happened to me in season 1. But I'm really struggling now on the back foot massively here. I'm never going to bother fighting Verstappen if he goes up the inside. I'm just struggling so much. I can't even brake and trail brake and turn. Can we stay ahead here? This is going to be a challenge. Verstappen's the closest he's been. I'm pulling over to the left slightly. Here he comes. He's going to the left, or to my right should I say. Don't really have the confidence on the braking. Verstappen goes for it. I'm going to go for the squeeze on the exit. And we stay ahead for now. Still got a long way to go. 4 whole laps left still. When my tyres are not hot like right now, I can actually pull away. And I've got good pace. I can actually stay ahead of Verstappen quite easily. But when they go hot, that's game over. It's just so hard to make anything even happen. Here we go again, the back straight. I don't think Verstappen's close enough this time. There he's not. See, this time we actually didn't overheat our tyres and we was alright. Oh no, lock up. Got on the curb too much. Right then, side by side with Verstappen. It's time for another drag race. He will have the RS, but I will have the ERS and engine power. Look at the Honda go. We've definitely got the legs on that Red Bull. Regardless of if we go there or not next season, we're going to have to work on that engine in that Red Bull. Either way, we're back up into P5. And we're staying strong here. We're holding on to this. Here comes Verstappen. He's close. He's got the inside line. I lock up. I'm going to go on the outside. I'm going to hold on to it just about. He goes around the outside now. Does Max. That's a daring move. No way through though. I'll take a wider line and stop him charging through. But I am really struggling now. 1 lap to go. It's intense. But we're holding on. Right then. Final few corners. We've done enough. We're going to bring this one home. Daniel Ricciardo has won a 2nd race in a row after not winning in this entire season and struggling for pace. He's won back-to-back races in the Red Bull. We're going to come through the final corner. After starting from P14, we're going to finish in P5, and that is a successful recovery drive and one that I'm very happy with. Ultimately, we got beaten by Perez and Vettel in the championship. It's starting to look a bit distant now, but you know what? It's still a good race. Right, so looking at the final results, Ricciardo wins the USA Grand Prix. He'll be ecstatic with that one. Vettel 2nd, Perez 3rd. As I mentioned, my championship rivals gaining points on me, and Vettel beating both myself and Perez. Bottas 4th. We come home P5 after that damage. We beat Verstappen. Gasly P7 on a 2-stop. Great race from him. And I did say before, that early stop might have helped him, and it really did. He did a really good race. And credit to him, he beat Ocon, Leclerc and Hulkenberg. So good job. Hamilton P12 outside of the points on a 2-stop strategy. And further down the order, Raikkonen retiring from the race. And in terms of the driver standings, though, Perez re-overtakes me for 2nd place. We are now 28 points behind Sebastian with, I believe, 3 races to go. Mexico, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. So it's looking tricky. Perez 25 points behind. He's got a better chance. He's got a better car. And even though we are the 2nd best car, you can just tell the Force India is just so much quicker than our car. Raikkonen 4th now. He's mathematically out of it after that retirement today. And Ricciardo's now P5 in the championship, and he's really got himself up there in the last couple of races. Gasly now P11. He's joined points with Grosjean. Once he overtakes him, the top 5 will be composed by the top 5 teams. In terms of the constructors, though, we still hold 3rd place. Red Bull, though, closing the gap. With Ricciardo's last 2 wins, they're starting to put the pressure on us, and it might not be over just yet. But all in all, a good episode here today, but we now move into the laptop.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. Would you say that your rival is still on your level? Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
Great, well that's everything.
Okay then, so looking at the R&D tree with 3 races left to go, we have to upgrade the chassis because it's the weakest part of the car. Now we've got weight redistribution as one option, or we have tyre wear, which is right at the top here. I think I'm going to go for the weight redistribution and go for the hydraulics and get that sorted out. That will arrive in Brazil. So, yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Next race is Mexico, then Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi. So, maybe in the next episode I can try and buy this one here as well and try and maximise the chassis as much as we can. And yeah, all in all, a good episode, second best team. With that, we should take a massive step towards Ferrari, actually, and really close up the gap, as you can see there on screen. And the battle is fierce in the R&D race right now. It's getting really close, like closer than ever, and teams are really pushing on with development. No regulation change for next season, so it could be interesting to see what teams do over the winter. But all in all, that has been it for this episode, guys. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like on the video. Also, do get subscribed, guys, for daily Formula 1 content. Turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching. Let's see you in my next episode very soon. Goodbye.